Hey guys, welcome to our crazy new, life of, doing this stuff at home. But I have some interesting things to talk about today. So hopefully you got some new material. Yesterday we talked a little bit about viruses. We also talked about bacteria and their different shapes. And then we also had you draw a picture. So you hopefully did that in your notebooks. And then you watch this video on the different types of bacteria that are around, and that you had this like cloud of bacteria, like an atmosphere on our planet, full of your own microbes, things that are unique to you, and that you could spread that around and it follows you around, gives you a certain smell, right? It's your own bacteria. Those things have evolved to live on you, which is kind of crazy, right? I ask you to answer a couple of questions like where are the most different types of bacteria found? Forearm. You guys wash your hands, but maybe they migrate to your forearm. So wash these too. If you ever watch a doctor or like a doctor show, they're going to do this stuff before they go into surgery. And then you know what? They wash down their forearms too. That's to get rid of that bacteria that's stuck there. Okay. And the dirtiest place in your house or the germiest place in your house? The kitchen sponge. I'm telling you, like it is a breeding ground for bacteria. If your sponge smells at all, stick that thing in the microwave, get it in the dishwasher, or you know what, better yet, just get a new one, throw it out. And if you're like, oh, I use a rag, I don't use a sponge to do my dishes, it's the same thing. Wash that thing often. If you're like, I use a little brush, a little scrub brush, great. Make sure you clean that thing too. Throw it in the dishwasher or something. The dishwasher uses that really, really hot water, which does kill a lot of the bacteria. And the soap washes it out and away. And then you got that hot cycle for drying too. So, look, get rid of the sponge if it smells gross, please, because you're just spreading bacteria around on your plate. So after that, we're on slide 19. And if you could make sure that you're there too in your notes, that would be awesome. We are going to work through this slide together right now, you and me. Okay. So this is some basic stuff on bacteria. First thing, what do they look like? And we went over a little bit about this yesterday. We said they're rod-shaped, they're sphere-shaped, and they're spiral-shaped. We have some proper names for them too, and we are going to write those down. So the first one is Bacillus. So bacillus-shaped bacteria are rod-shaped bacteria. And they look like this. Kind of have this crazy Cheeto puff look, you know? These are all kind of artist renditions. This one's probably an actual image of the bacteria. And I wish I could show you in relationship to like your human cells that we looked at in a microscope how big these things are, because they are super small. They are really, really, really tiny. Okay. Probably the most famous one of this is Lactobacillus Acidophilus. This is the one that you find in yogurt. But there are all sorts of bacillus types of bacteria. They're shaped like a rod or a Cheeto puff. Okay. So hopefully you wrote down bacillus and rod shaped. I do have a way of remembering that. Like if you see it in the future, the letter I, L, L, they're all kind of rod shaped letters. So it kind of has some of those letters within the word. That's how I remember it. The second shape that we're going to talk about is the round one, the Coccus bacteria. And you're looking at some Google images here. This is an actual microscope one. This one looks the same. Okay, this one looks more artist rendition-y. Okay, these are shaped like spheres, three-dimensional little spheres. And probably the most famous of these is Staphylococcus. That's a staph infection. If you were to get a cut and that cut got infected with a pathogenic, that is an infectious bacteria that causes harm, a lot of times it's staph, and staph infections are caused by Staphylococcus, which is a round or spherical shaped bacteria. So let's get that one in here. Coccus, and that would be round or sphere, right? Slash spherical shaped. I do have a way of remembering that too, like the letter C, the letter O, the letter C, the letter C, they're all round shaped letters. So I just think that that word has a lot of round shaped letters in it and reminds me of the round shaped bacteria. And our third shaped bacteria is Spirilla. Now, Spirilla is shaped like a spiral. I don't have a great way of remembering that except to say that they sound the same. Spiral, Spirilla. So there you go. Here are some examples or some images of Spirilla shaped bacteria. They're shaped like a spiral. And those are probably our three most common shapes that you're going to run across with bacteria. So here's an actual microscope image. Okay, kind of look like little wormies squiggling about. Okay, so those are our three shapes. The next box that we have is where are they found? And what you could just say right now is they're found like, well, at least eubacteria are found everywhere that we go. Okay, and this is really for eubacteria. Remember, there's also archaebacteria, and those are the archaea are found in a lot of extreme environments. Some are found in the soil, but a lot of them are, in volcanic hot springs, undersea ocean vents, ice caps, volcanoes, stuff like that. What we would consider extreme is normal for them. So what do I mean by everywhere? Well, I mean that like they're on your body, right? They're also like inside your body. And you know this because if you had bad breath this morning, hopefully you brushed your teeth, but bacteria gave you that bad breath. That's inside of your mouth, right? Maybe if you got some stinky armpits after doing a run or PE or something like that, deodorant, it's good. But bacteria are making those armpits stinky. You also have them inside of your intestines, small intestine, large intestine, and they help you digest your food. They actually break it down so that your body can absorb it. So they are actually really important for you. Not only are they not found or just inside you and on you, they're also found on surfaces around your house. You can think about like on your refrigerator, on your countertop. They're definitely on your Chromebook that you're touching right now, and there's probably a lot of them because they came from your skin and you probably haven't disinfected it very often. Okay, so they're on surfaces. They are in the air, which is kind of crazy to think about, but they can be in clouds. So storm systems can even spread bacteria around. They're in the soil. And in fact, a lot of plants would not be able to grow if it wasn't for beneficial, that is good bacteria that are in the soil. And some of those bacteria can actually take stuff out of the air, like nitrogen, and lock it up into a compound in the soil that plants can then use as like a fertilizer. And plants would not be able to grow in that soil without bacteria. They're really found all over the place. Solid rock, I mean, we're talking everywhere. Okay? How do they get everywhere? Well, a lot of them are moved around by the winds and the water, like rainwater. In the case of human beings, like, oh boy, we move them around. You cough on your hand and give someone a high five, or you grab their whatever silverware or your tray at lunch or something like that. Whatever's on your hand is now on that object. We move them around, but they can move on their own, and usually that's through water. So there are two ways in which bacteria move on their own. And the first one is with these little tiny like hairs. We call them cilia. So I'm going to write it in tiny hairs. You should write all this stuff too, right? And they look a lot like that. Okay, they cover the entire outside of the cell membrane, or in some cases the cell wall of the bacteria. And they just wiggle them, like a whole bunch of them, they wiggle them all, and it just kind of randomly moves them through the water. Okay, this isn't the only time we'll see cilia, but it is definitely a way to move through water. And there's also another way in which bacteria move through water, and it's called a flagella. Now, this is like a tail. Now, here's the thing. Some bacteria have one, other bacteria have many. So it really just depends on the type of bacteria we're looking at, how many they have. Here's an example of a rod-shaped bacillus bacteria with quite a few tails, or flagella. And the takeaway from the flagella is they don't work like a tail that most tails that you think of. They don't work like those. So if you think of like tails on a fish, or tails on a mouse, or tails on a dolphin, or a whale, or like any of those things, they're attached with muscles to bones, right? And so what we get is like this like wiggling, undulating kind of motion, like woo, like that. Or in the case of a whale, it's up and down. Okay, that's not what these guys do. They don't have muscles. They're one cell big. So they actually spin the tail like a motor or a propeller on a boat or a submarine or something. And they actually have like a little kind of motor at the end that You know, a rotor is used in a lot of motors and allows this tail to spin. And that whip-like spinning motion then spins or allows the bacteria to swim through the water. So it's kind of crazy. Very different than the tail that most vertebrates have. Vertebrates are things with a backbone, like your fish and your whales and sharks and turtles and monkeys and stuff. So very different from those types of tails. But it works. It gets them through the water. So hopefully you have that down. Flagella, tail. And again, one tail is a flagella, and many tails is a flagellum. So it just ends in un. Okay? So that's our big bulk of our notes. I'm going to have you do one more slide. We're going to jump down quite a bit if you see me scrolling. That's all a project that we're going to do that I don't know if we'll be able to do because of this virus thing. I'm going to go to 17. There are 2 videos on 17. 2. There is, up there, right there, a bacterial video on the Amoeba Sisters do one, kind of introductory video. Watch that. It says click on it. You should be able to watch it right from your Chromebook. And then, like, over there, yeah, over that direction is a brain pop. And in order to get on the brain pop, you got to use that password. So Bloomington11 is the password, or sorry, is the username, and then type in ISD271 for the password. Watch those 2. They kind of introduce you to all the cool things bacteria do, and then I would like you to pick out 3. There's many more than 3, but 3 good things that bacteria do, because they don't all just get you sick. And then write those down here at the bottom. And that's your work today. Good luck. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Wash your forearms if you don't want all those germs to, spread to other people. Okay? Get rid of that bacteria. And take it easy.